Hello, children. This is Alice Cooper, and you're rocking the airwaves with Andre and the Backbeat.
All music is the same. It's just a new set of lyrics and a new backbeat.
All right. So we're rolling.
All right.
All right. Well, Alice, thanks a lot for taking time out to have a chat with me today.
Thank you.
Now, I can remember listening to the album Welcome to My Nightmare, and when it came out, and I thought, cool. How did he get Vincent Price to do this? How did that come about?
Vincent Price actually was, it was at that time in my career when I probably could have called anybody.
Really?
Yeah, we were right at the top of our game. We had just had 2 #1 albums in a row. Alice was the rock villain of all time, and so I was pretty much, I wanted to connect with the real villains. To put it in perspective, when I invented Alice, I looked around and saw all the Peter Pans in rock and no Captain Hook. And I went, there's no definitive villain in rock and roll. There's no character that's a villain. When you think of him, like a Darth Vader, this and this, Alice Cooper will be that. I will design Alice to be this. He'll be the next Vincent Price. He'll be the next Bela Lugosi, only for this generation. And that's basically what I invented him to be. So Vincent Price was attracted to it. He had certainly had heard of Alice Cooper. It was part of the culture at that point. I was on every TV show. I was in every magazine, so it was pretty hard to miss me, especially since the fact that I was the horror rock guy. So Vincent Price, when he couldn't wait to do it. We called him up, and he says, I'll be there. And he comes down to the studio. We gave him the script, for the Black Widow thing. And he says, do you mind if I play with it a little bit? I said,
be my guest.
I said, you're the master. I said, do whatever you want to do with it, And he had more fun with it. He actually played live with us in Lake Tahoe. The very first night that we did Welcome to My Nightmare, the full production.
Cool.
Which was like a Broadway play almost. He was up doing the Black Widow thing with me on a leash.
No.
And it was one of the great moments on our stage, having Vincent Price up there. But I gave him his first platinum album, so it was great. Michael Jackson.
True. Yeah. Well, everybody who came after you is just.
I actually got an apology from Michael Jackson.
Bad imitation.
Thriller.
Yeah.
After Thriller, he says, "Well, we kind of blueprinted it from
Yeah. The persona Alice Cooper, which I regard as the godfather of shock rock, has been present in so many forms of media. Now, how does it feel to be considered a commodity? Now, I don't know if you're a registered trademark.
I definitely am woven into the fabric of Americana. And now world music, I think. I'm actually probably bigger in out of the United States than I am in the United States.
Really?
Even though in the United States, you say Alice Cooper in Podunk, Idaho, and they know who you're talking about. Because I've survived it. I've survived 35 years in this business, and I'm still going. The survivors are the guys: Elton, Bowie, Alice, Rod Stewart, that from that generation that didn't die physically, and that kept making records. I think we came from a different
Mold.
We were at that time taught to be stars. I mean, when they said you're going to be a rock star, that meant 20 albums. That meant movies. That meant television. That meant stage.
The whole gamut.
The whole production.
Yeah.
So I balk a little bit when I see one kid on TV with one record that might be a hit being called a star. I go, boy, I said, they're throwing that term around a little bit. I think you have to earn it, don't you?
True.
He could be.
Yeah.
He has the potential to be, but let's not just start calling him star.
Give a little bit of lead time.
Yeah.
And surfing the web, I saw that one could order checks with depictions of you. Now, where would you draw the line to say that, all right, no, out of the question?
I'm not like that at all. I think Alice belongs to the public.
Really?
Alice totally belongs to the public. If they take schools out, none of my songs are sacred.
Yeah.
I don't consider schools
like
out.
Tom Waits.
18, yeah. To me, if they want to sell something with schools out, I mean, if it's something I object to, yeah. If it was cigarettes or alcohol, I wouldn't do it.
No.
If they want to sell a Porsche to Under My Wheels, absolutely. Send me one, by the way.
Supply me one.
I'll take 2, one for my wife and myself. But I don't look at rock music as being sacred.
Yeah.
And I don't even think the Beatles did.
Mm-hmm.
I think, Paul McCartney would sit there, or Lennon would say, hey, look, revolution. Sell tennis shoes? I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a song.
Yeah.
It's just a song. It doesn't define me. It's a song.
Once it's out there, it's somewhat
and it belongs to you.
Yeah.
It belongs to you as much as it does me.
Once it's out there, it's part of the public.
It's part of the public. So
Yeah.
I don't treat Alice as a sacred thing.
Mm-hmm.
I take the stage show very seriously. I take the recording seriously. I take the image seriously.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I don't take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I divorce myself from really believing that I am Alice Cooper. But when I'm on stage tonight, I will be Alice.
Yeah.
And I will definitely be in his skin.
Well, that comes to the next question now. In the movie Wayne's World, whose idea was it to debunk the myth of the wild rock star, Alice Cooper? With the performance you gave.
Yeah, that was the Michael... it was so funny.
Mike Myers.
Yeah, Mike Myers.
It was his idea.
And he comes in and he goes, he says, first of all, he comes in and he says, you're the only one that can really... You're that status where we can go, we're not worthy. You, Aerosmith, and we'd really like to use you because it'd be cool. So can you do this song? Yeah, and we'll come backstage. We're not worthy. Then when I got there, they said, well, can you do a little dialogue? And they know I act before,
Yeah.
Sure. They had me about 5 pages of dialogue all of a sudden. I said, when are we shooting this? He said, about 20 minutes.
Great.
So now I've got to wing it. The whole thing about the socialist mayors in Milwaukee and all this other stuff. And the whole idea, I got the joke. The fact that here's these guys with tattoos down their arm, sitting there like that going, well, actually, Milwaukee is an Algonquin word for the good land. And all the guys in the band should be like on Jeopardy. They're all like really smart. And that makes it really funny. I totally get the juxtaposition of that. And they're sitting there going, I didn't know that. It ended up being a very funny part of the movie, and to this day.
Yeah.
5 times, I'll go out, I don't care where it is here in Germany.
I'll
go down to the Stuttgart, to the shopping straat, and 5 people. We're not. So I'm stuck with that forever.
But it's not a bad thing.
It's fine. Oh, it could have been much worse.
That's right.
Yeah.
You have the knack of viewing life and putting into words and music many things that the average person thinks. Now, if I look at the last 2 albums that you've released, that's a pretty good example of that. Sort of people say, like, right on the money. Now, do you feel like a spokesman for all generations?
I think that, as a lyricist, I get to be a satirist. I get to be, every once in a while you say something poignant that everybody will go, oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I wish I would have thought of that. Or I thought that, but I didn't know how to say it. As a lyricist, we get to do that. Humans are the best source of inspiration. Yeah. Because hypocrisy is great. I mean, I'll sit there and I'll watch this person say this, and then turn around and do that. And I'll go, that's a song right there. Or, right now, I kind of think, what really bothers me? Okay, what bothers me right now is white kids in malls with hats down here and the pants down here going, yo, 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 being black kids.
Uh-huh.
Rich white kids trying to be poor black kids.
Mm-hmm.
Is just got to be a song. I mean, I have to write that song. I'm going to write it on the next album. Because that screams to be...
Put out there.
That screams to be satirized and lampooned somewhere, Somehow the Beastie Boys got away with it, and it worked for them. Mm-hmm. But the average kid, and Eminem, he's from Detroit, okay. Yeah. White kids and black kids in Detroit are street kids. Mm-hmm. But I mean, when you get a kid from Beverly Hills doing the yo-yo-yo thing, I go, would you stop? So that one screams to be a satire. But you're right, there's a lot of things. I wrote a lot about women. I write a lot about women. The old adage is that Einstein started out, studying women's behavior. After 2 days, he went to quantum physics because he figured it would be easier.
Much easier.
Yeah, so
definitely.
Being married for 30 years.
Yeah.
And to a woman that I've never fought with and I've never cheated on. I can look at other situations and I can really, people tell me what happened with them and their wife or their girlfriend and that's really good. I'm going to write that down. Because it's funny what happened. And it's a situation that probably applies to a lot of people out there. Yeah. And when they hear it to music, they go, oh, that's me. You know? And then if you get one like 18 is general. Everybody's 18.
That's across the board. That's everybody.
And the trick about 18 is that, oh man, I'm not a boy, I'm not a man, I can't drink, but I have to go to the army, and I haven't got any say in the government, and I've got any say in this, and I haven't got any say in that. I'm 18, and I like it. The idea, and I like it, is that celebration of being confused, and it's glorious. The chaos is glorious, you know, and that's why that song works to this day on stage. When I sing I'm 18 and I like it, everybody goes, yeah.
Well, it's timeless.
Yeah, but I can understand why.
Sure.
It's not I'm 18 and I'm pissed off. I'm 18 and I love it, you know.
The hell with
School's out,
everybody.
writes itself.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that's the best day of the year. The last 3 minutes before your vacation.
You have restaurants in named Cooperstown in Phoenix and Cleveland. Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any young or unknown bands come into play and to sort of give them a show of support?
That was like to me, the main purpose for the one in Phoenix.
Really?
That's the one in Phoenix. It's 7,000 square feet inside, 7,000 outside. It happened to be in the perfect spot, right next to the basketball arena and right next to the baseball arena. And I said, what does everybody have in common?
Music.
Music and sports. Everybody loves music and sports. Every musician I know wants to play a professional sport. Every guy I know that plays for a professional team wants to be in a band. So let's put together a great barbecue restaurant where you can bring your family in. And on the wall there's a Paul McCartney bass and an L.K. Line glove. You know, there's a Wayne Gretzky hockey stick and a Who bass. You know, so they go walk around and they go, it's music and sports. I love it. You can't. And then outside, there's a stage where I invite any local band to come in and play. Just come up, plug in, play. Because when we were that age in Phoenix, we didn't have that.
Yeah, there was nobody there then.
Just you know, either we're going to play a bar somewhere that you weren't even allowed to be in, or something. But there really weren't any places for young bands to get up and get in front of an audience. So this basically, to this day, probably tonight, there's 5 bands playing at Cooperstown.
Cool. Now, traveling around, do you get ideas for food or stuff that you'd want to serve there?
You know, I'm smart enough not to be the food guy.
Not?
I said, we make a great cheeseburger. We make an exceptional cheeseburger, an exceptional hot dog. We have a hot dog that's 2.5 feet long. And since Randy Johnson is one of my co-owners, it's called the Big Unit, you know. And ribs, you know, if you can do 2 or 3 really simple things great, people will come back and back and back and back. I want them to be there for the food, not just because they want to buy the T-shirt.
I'll cook it and they will come.
Yeah, and you know, I told them right up front, if it's on the plate, if it's really good on the plate, that's what I want. I don't want them coming because of what's on the walls.
Like Planet Hollywood. I mean, please.
I was part owner of that.
Yeah.
So,
well.
But I mean, maybe that taught me a lesson. Is that
I'm sure it did.
I want them to not come there for the T-shirts. I'd rather have them come there for the food. And now we do a steady business in there. Ridiculous business.
Well, it means I got to go there someday.
Oh, you would love it.
Oh, I think so. Rock, music, and golf.
Yeah.
How did you discover this love of the game?
I did it out of I had to get out of the hotel room. And like I said, I was an athlete in school, and that's what I did. And I realized at one point, I can't sit in this hotel room and drink anymore. I went out one day with a friend of mine who was a road manager, who was a golfer, picked up a club, took one swing, hit it down the middle, and went, I'm hooked. And everybody says, oh, you can't play golf. It's the worst thing. All the kids' dads play golf. It's the worst thing for your career. And I go, okay, then I'll hide, and nobody will know. All of a sudden, I got really good. You know, I was shooting 2, 3 over every time. And now, who plays golf? Lou Reed, Iggy, every heavy metal band I know plays golf.
Well, with that, you got this celebrity pro-am tournament
Sure.
going. Now, what is the grounds for that?
Well, that's, you know, just we definitely wanted to do something. I said, if I do play golf, and I play a lot of tournaments for charities, and I have this organization called Solid Rock Foundation, which is a Christian nonprofit. I said, inner city kids, every inner city kid needs money. I mean, that's the worst. If there's guns, gangs, and drugs, I say give them a 9-iron rather than a 9mm. You know, and maybe we can do some good. So we infused a lot of money downtown Phoenix into the worst part of Phoenix, right in there, right to where it counted. It wasn't going over here and then kind of floating around. We were taking the money right to where it was going to really do some good. 10 years now, and the tournament's still going strong. But I can call up. See, I can call Cheech and Chong to come and play. I can call, you know, guys from the Pink Floyd. I can call it. So many guys play golf.
Amazing.
And, you know, they all want to come to Arizona and play for 3 days. Who doesn't want to come to Arizona and play?
So rocker with a heart.
Yeah, well, I mean, and at the same time, if I'm going to play anyways, why not let the money go to the right place?
For sure.
You know, I mean, I think United Appeal and all that have got all the money they can use. And I never see it. I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say it seems like there's a 20 cents on the dollar gets to the actual problem.
Yeah.
Whereas this is, you make 200,000, 200,000 goes out.
Cool.
I mean, we make sure that nothing sticks to us.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
So use golf clubs to like tee stuff off the stage into the
You know, I'll
the
tell you
audience?
what, Alice has never once played golf.
On stage.
Alice would know. If you put golf clubs on Alice's stage, he would think they were weapons.
It's a weapon, that's
He would
right.
look at that thing and go like this and go, yes!
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that was really, I finally got people finally to understand, was that Alice doesn't play golf. I play golf.
Well, thanks a lot, Alice.